our demo's gonna be a little bit different. These guys are so amazing. They finished early that we decided to make a PowerPoint as well. It was amazing to see the work that they did. I mean, started from zero and did some pretty advanced coding. So yeah, just gonna hand it off to them. Super proud of what we've done.
Okay, we're the Creative Coders, and this is the used cars EDA demo. I'm Alexandra, and then we have Jason, Odin, Spencer, Teddy, and our DSI Harris. We range from grades 9 to 11, and we have had previous experience with other languages, but we're all coming with minimal to no experience with Python. And context for our data.
So we were looking to see what factors influence the price of used cars the most, and how those factors influence the price. And since power and torque are both dependent on engine speed and are indicators, we hypothesized that power and torque will have a strong correlation when compared to the price. Getting insights about used cars prices is very important, as used cars tend to be the only option for many people's transportation. Particularly as students, our first cars will likely be used cars, as brand new ones are too expensive. So knowing about how factors affect the price of used cars can help us get the best value possible.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the data selection and the cleaning that we did. So first, here's some of the conversions that we did. So the data that we collected was actually from used cars in India. So the data had the prices listed under Indian rupees, so we had to change that to American dollars. And since India tends to use the metric system, we had to change anything that had kilometers, liters to gallons or liters, or gallons or miles, for us to sort of understand it a little more, since most of us are in America right now. So we did that. We changed the mileage from kilometers per liter to miles per gallon, and the fuel tank capacity from liters to gallons. And the number of owners was listed as first, second, or third. And we had to change that from a string to an integer, so either 1, 2, or 3. This is also a little bit of our visualizations of our data. So this shows the relationship between the power of the engine versus the price of it. So as we can see, the more power that the engine has, the more expensive the car tends to get as it goes up. This is the make year versus the torque. This sort of just shows the fluctuations in torque depending on the make year of the car. This is the torque versus the price. This is very similar to the power versus the price. It also relates to the engine. As we can see, as the torque goes up, the price also tends to go up. So you can see that there. And this is the gas mileage versus the fuel tank capacity. There's a somewhat negative correlation between the two, whereas mileage gets higher, fuel tank capacity tends to get lower. And most makes tend to have a general fuel tank capacity that they stick to.
Next, we looked at the differences between cars that were above average price and below average price. You can see in the pie charts, first we look at transmission type, so either manual or automatic. You can see the left half of the screen has the pie chart for the top half of the price range, and then the bottom half of the price range is on the left side, or is on the right side of the screen, sorry. You can see that manual transmissions are definitely more common, but that's especially so in the bottom half of the price range. Then we did the same thing for the fuel type of the different halves of the price range. You can see that petrol is definitely more common across the board, but definitely, again, in the bottom half, it's overwhelmingly common. And then lastly, we examined the seating capacity of both halves. You can see that 5 seats is definitely the most common, overwhelmingly. And although 7 seats is a bit more prevalent in the top half of the price range, really it's like 5 seats across the board. It doesn't make too much of a difference.
Considering our graphs, here are insights and conclusions. First, involving power and torque. Chevrolet shows rapid growth 2013, 2015, and 2022. And Maruti Suzuki shows almost no improvement in power. The highest power and torque, 250 Nm and 177 bhp, was achieved by Skoda 2022, 2012, 2014, 2019, and 2022. Although Chevrolet had the highest 2013 and 2015, and a variety of other makers had their highest in various other years. 2011 to 2022, our time range, power and torque didn't really significantly increase. So if you're looking for a car with higher power and torque, you wouldn't generally look for a specific year.
After reviewing the graphs, we found that almost every car valued at 13K or more has only one previous owner. Every car valued over 20,000 was made from 2019 to 2022. Higher power and higher torque tend to raise the price of the car, and more expensive cars tend to use automatic transmission and diesel rather than less expensive ones. This is comparing the most expensive car to the least expensive car. So for power on the most expensive side, we've got 250 bhp, and torque is 177 Nms, and it's about $35,000. While on the extreme low end, we've got 35 bhp and 48 torque, and it's only about 2,000. So yeah. Now moving on to the takeaways. Our biggest takeaways were learning how to use modules like Streamlit and Plotly to analyze and visualize data. We also learned the basics of Python and also how to communicate as a team. Now moving on to the demo.
Sorry, it starts at the bottom for some reason. Just ignore this. So here's our team again. All of us, same thing that you saw before. And then our goal again was looking at how different factors influenced price so that we can get the best value possible. So first for the cleaning, again, you can see those conversions that we talked about earlier. This is what a little bit of our data looked like after we cleaned it. You can see there's just a ton of columns here. There was like a lot of rows, like a lot of more rows really. And moving on to some of the visualizations that you saw in the presentation. Here's the make year versus price, make year versus power, make year versus torque. So those kind of show over time, but here's the number of previous owners versus price, price versus power, price versus torque. And then here's mileage versus fuel tank capacity, kind of switching over. And then here's again some of those pie charts that you saw earlier about the top half and bottom half of the car price range. The left side is top half, the right side is bottom half. So for transmission type, fuel type, and seating capacity. Now for some insights about power and torque over time, you've already seen this. Some of the price insights, again, we were mainly looking at what factors influence price so that we can get the best possible value. And then lastly, again, those attributes of the most and least expensive cars sold. That's about it.